between those three, that was kind of a really stable and very effective coaching environment.
They brought something to the program. I don't think that if they were ever to leave, will be replaced.
From the riders through the staff, through everyone kind of just knew their role, and when everyone walked into battle, it was a real united team.
That triangle of coaches, working under head coach Shane Sutton and performance director Dave Brailsford, combined to squeeze the maximum effort out of all the riders. Victoria would totally dominate female sprinting, winning 5 out of 6 world titles in the 2 years before Beijing.
Going into Beijing, she felt so confident. She was basically untouchable. One thing with Vicky is the more you do, the more confident she feels. So we spent a lot of time on the boards, in front of the laptop. It was so close, there was nothing that could get in between us.
But unknown to any of her coaches, in the months leading up to Beijing, Victoria had fallen in love. A personal journey of discovery that was to have devastating consequences for the unity of the team.
So tonight
On the menu is easy chicken night. How long have we been eating easy chicken for? Years now.
looks like
Scott's my wonderful Australian fiancé. Scott and I were both like, yeah, I quite like you, yeah, I like you too. Do you think we have a chance for a relationship? Well, I don't know. We have to give it a go to find out. We knew if we embarked on this, then that'd be the end. One of us would have to leave the job. You will want the recipe.
It takes about 5 minutes to cook.
And about 2 minutes to eat. Today is the greatest day I've ever known, a line from the Smashing Pumpkins song, Today. When I listen to it, it reminds me of those early days of getting to know somebody. It kind of evokes a lot of emotion in me, I think, and I think it always will. I think it'll always be close to my heart, so I could have had his name, but I chose to put that, which is practically the same. I'll put that on.
I first found out way before Beijing. It was something I noticed in the track centre. Scott had bent down, Vicky was changing the gears, and it was just something that, I noticed. And at the time, and I thought, that's strange.
Got pretty hard on.
You came in the room to see me, and I said, I think you got something to tell me.
Wow.
In sport, there are rules, and there are rules on how you work with the team. I knew there were consequences.
The bottom line is, Scott broke protocol. You don't get involved with the athletes. Had the real Shane Sutton stepped up to the mark at that particular point, I would have said for Scott to probably walk then. But the problem is he was adding so much value.
It was hard. It was hard. It was one of those things that you can't deny love, I suppose, and we fell in love at work.
But it was then, how do we manage that? It was a rock and hard place. And I can't really tell the other two coaches, so I wanted to keep it all hush-hush. Stay away from each other now till the games are over, and then we can, drive it forward. But obviously that was never going to happen. They were in love, you know what it's like. I was holding the cards there, and I played the wrong cards.
Great Britain are the Olympic team sprint champions.
Had watched all my fellow competitors go up there and win gold medals before I got to the track. It was just gold, 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 more gold. On most days I'm brought to tears because I'm so happy, and they've won and you see their faces and people getting emotional on the podium, and I can get emotional just thinking about it. The team doing so well just pushed me further. It was like, I have to do this, I have to do it. I felt unstoppable, thinking, this is the best opportunity I've ever had. I've got one chance to get this right. And I felt a huge, huge pressure to be part of the team.
She was a class apart. Nobody was going to get close to her. She was majestic, she was fantastic. She was unbeatable. I mean, she blew everybody away, literally did. It was very, very impressive to see.
No one was even able to touch her there. It was quite breathtaking, yeah, I have to say.
And she showed everyone exactly, this is how fast I can go.
Mears will not come back from this. The magnificent display of confidence, power and speed. The gold medal is yours. Victoria Pendleton is the Olympic champion.
The moment I crossed the line, it was relief, pure relief. I've spoken about it on so many occasions, and it's easier to explain it as elation to people. I was absolutely overwhelmed. It was the most amazing feeling on earth. But quite honestly, I can say I didn't feel anything. I felt almost numb. And I thought, wow, I really thought this would feel different, like I'd suddenly be overwhelmed with an emotion and I wouldn't be able to hold it back. It felt like I wasn't even there. It's hard to believe that I actually did it.
And the whole of the British team are stood to attention in the middle of the arena here, showing their appreciation.
There were so many people that, had done so much good work for Vic over those years. Everyone was just really emotional. Later on that day, Shane told Jan about Vicky and myself, and that then turned into what I'd say at the time wasn't a very pleasant situation to be in for any of us.
I was living a life for whatever it was, I can't remember, 6 months. Then I decided that, Scott was going, and I just pushed on with it. The carnage left behind and the damage was massive.
Like winning the gold medal should have been like the happiest day of my entire life. Like it worked and I won. And it just wasn't. And then it was just completely... It just felt like the saddest day in my entire life. Everyone was so angry with us that we, Scott and I had fallen in love because it was so unprofessional. We were a disgrace and betrayed everybody.
Jan and Ian in particular felt quite betrayed by me. And I never wanted to do that to anyone. I never wanted anyone to feel that way.
Well, stuck with me for quite a while, Me and Scott, we lived together. I thought we had a good friendship, and it's great for them that they do fall in love, and those things happen in life. But Vicky's sometimes not the easiest. And I've been sitting with Scott in the evening and talking about her, and he's basically seen her. And I felt very disappointed that he never told me that.
I think Scott having to leave the team and everything he's kind of worked for with us, for me, was a really huge deal, and I think I'll be, like, forever, oh gosh, in this debt. Sorry. He's given up everything to be with me, and, that means a lot. That's why I need to do him proud at the London Olympics as well. To prove that it wasn't, in vain or for no reason, just that it was all worth it. I'm kind of not disregarded, but I don't know. I'm not the favourite anyway, shall we say.
The gold medal is yours. Victoria Pendleton is the Olympic champion.
Since Beijing, I'd say she's probably gone through a lot emotionally that she would have welcomed to have left behind.
After Beijing, and with Scott no longer at the velodrome, Victoria cut an isolated figure. Her reputation as a defiant but emotional maverick laying her open to criticism within British cycling.
We sort of stopped working as close as we have done towards Beijing. We sort of, she went her own way. She sort of started working on her own, closely with Scott. I was more sort of a facilitator.
The world title's on the line for Victoria Pendleton. She has to get it right in this ride, otherwise she will no longer be the world sprint champion.
And I think she just wanted to prove to everyone that this is working.
Victoria, you have earned that. 4 times the world sprint champion.
I just couldn't possibly imagine not having a world championship jersey. And I just really didn't want to lose. I'm sorry.
She put on a very brave fight for a long time, and I think part of what you saw in that emotion was her battle to keep going, to face up every day.
In 2010, Victoria won her 5th individual world title in 6 years. But her constant battles were an emotional drain.
And now she goes over to her boyfriend there. That's Scott, fiance, who of course used to be on the development plan with cycling, and then he went to the development plan from swimming.
It's been a difficult time. It's been a really difficult time, and I can't say I'm going to look back over the last 3 years fondly, because it hasn't been very lovely at times.
Come on,
what?
jump in.
We didn't deal with it the best way we could have dealt with it, I don't think. Some of the coaching staff didn't deal with it very well. A lot of infighting, hassle 24/7, unbearable working conditions. There's been a lot of bloody tears.
I did feel at times that I was out on my own, like, you know, I'd write my programme and then feel it was criticised and then feel like unconfident about it. And rather than going into work and having a confidence boost from the people around you, it was like a knock. You just try and get on with it, and I come home and get upset with Scott.
I feel a clear responsibility to help her as much as I can. And fortunately or unfortunately, I have the skills in this area at the moment to help her as much as I can.
This is a girl who likes a team, and she wants that team to love her. They've got these phenomenally gifted people in all aspects, with this phenomenally gifted rider, and there's nobody nasty or malicious in that team, and yet there's just a bit of conflict that's unresolved. If that team comes together, and Vicky can also get strength from herself, you won't stop her. She just won't stop her. She'll go to London and she'll win again.
Good boy, come on.
In 2011, Victoria lost her World Championship title. Beaten by Anna Mears, the veneer of invincibility was no longer. It was clear that Victoria's dominance was over, and that her setup, training at a distance from her coaches, while Scott managed her programme from home, would not produce victory at the Olympics.
As a consequence of my results at the Worlds, it has kick-started a lot of cogs in motion to try and fix me, fix what went wrong. So it obviously has caused a bit of a stir within the GB camp.
The unthinkable began to be mooted within British cycling, and in the summer of 2011, 3 years after he had to leave, the call came for Scott to return to the fold, a fully integrated part of Victoria's team.
I didn't feel that Scott should come back in, but at the end of the day, there's no one else in this program that could win, like Vicky could win. So therefore, you know, maybe we've had to accept defeat within victory, as it were. But the choices have been made, and we've got to go out and support her and win that gold medal.
The information, the knowledge, the experience, everything's within this team. It just needs to click back into the place where it was prior to the last Olympics, and it'll be amazing.